quick, rapid. Anyway, topic discussion, praying that our black men do better and why, you know, we need our black kings to do better. This is a matter of life and death. You know, it's actually a very serious situation. But before I continue, let me say what my name is. It's King Kevin Dorival in the building. And blessings to you as well. The grind is real. I love the hustle. There's a lot of good updates to share. I will save some for a later date, and some things to be shared on a personal, private way, and not, you know, all in public on YouTube and social media. Because I know the world is watching right now, right? Once you're on the internet, the whole world is there. So this time I got the lighting correct, and we're gonna get into some things now. Before I continue, I want to definitely, those of you who have already seen the magazine that I posted earlier today, by Women Do It Big. You know, a young lady in New Jersey, you know, she contacted me last year, actually. She contacted me once she read one of the articles in the newspaper, Black Media Web, was it Black News, something like that. Anyway, there's an article written about my second book, Seven Types of Queen King Desire. So she contacted me. Her name is Cynthia. And the title, what they put here, Now Let Your King Find You. So they actually put she sent me 2 copies. She sent me 2 copies of this. I'm going to actually put this in the frame. This is it right here. So shout out to Women Doing It Big. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter, Women Doing It Big. If you're a young lady doing your thing, you're on the grind, you may want to contact these people. You definitely want to contact 3. This is the article, and this actually made my day. I was so happy by the fact and honored by the fact that, you know, they read what the book was about. They wanted the book, and actually I sent them a couple of copies of the book, you know, later on, but I definitely sent them information, more content, and it was like, wow, you know, we got to have it. Can you send this to me by such and such date? I sent it to them that same. So, and they also have a big women's conference they do every year. This is huge. I mean, if I was to show you the flyer that she sent me with these magazines and the celebrities who was at these conferences, oh man, I was like, whoa, really? People I'm trying to find, you know, people I'm trying to contact is all up in their circle already. So all I got to do is stay plugged up with them. And what she told me to do that, exactly that. She understands my vision. We had a lengthy conversation, a couple conversations throughout the past 6-7 months. And so she sees where I'm going with it, what I'm doing, and why I'm talking about this. And of course, this is the book, you know, 7 Types of Queen King Desire. This is what's giving me international recognition, actually. So now I'm a world-renowned author, not just a local joker, but actually doing my thing. You know, I was just in London last year. Those of you who friends, family, and friends on social media, you know, I was in London. You know, I was in Haiti. You know, I was in New York. So word is getting out there. You know, word is getting out there. So this is actually my first magazine. First time in a magazine. This right here is my first printed magazine article. I've been interviewed many times on e-magazine, but the actual first big accomplishment for King Kevin Dorival. Go to my website, 7kings.com or kevindorival.com. Now, the follow-up to this book is why I'm doing this video. It's called Types of Kings, Queen's Desire. So now I'm flipping the script. You know, when I wrote this book, I had to be a lot more sensitive. I had to be a lot more empathetic to the women's perspective, the feminine energy, which I have a whole newfound respect for women. Not that I didn't before, but a higher level because of what I read in, you know, Dr. Boris Shango's book, and Dr. Ida Van Sertima's book. I'm just learning about Dr. Ann Brown, you know, Dr. Mrs. Ma'at. I'm learning about these new different individuals, Queen of Four. So reading and just fellowshipping or sistershipping with women, I started to understand the totality of what women represented. Now, with the men, you know, a lot of people are like, their mindsets are, so if the men were ruling and taking over things, I'm sorry, let me rewind. If the women were ruling and reigning, what were the men doing at the time? Were they just sitting back? Were they just being servants to the women? Were they just kissing their feet, kissing their butts? What were they doing? Now, the answer to that question is the men actually played a vital role in civilization, especially in times of antiquity. So they believed in co-rulership, and that the wisdom and energy and life, mind you, I'm gonna get back to that, but life comes from our mothers. Life comes from the womb. A man cannot give birth. A man, you know, so it kind of contradicts what we have been taught. What the Bible teaches us is that the woman comes from a man, or life comes from man, which is not so. But women, they do need the seeds of a man to go into the, you know, the tubes of the woman and fertilize her eggs, or, you know, mothers, those who are mothers, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not a father yet. God willing, I will be soon, sooner than later, you know, once I get married. But at the same time, I want you guys to understand that there's a equal role here on earth, in this life, in this time and space. And so we must not take that for granted, because if you watch or even listen to a lot of the music, whether it's on the radio, on television, you know, social media, a lot of the rap songs, and even R&B songs today, but a lot of the rap songs have men, particularly black men, because, you know, it's cool now, supposedly, to call our women bitches and hoes and sluts and this and that. Now, what we not realizing what's happening as they're doing that, we are, as men and women, becoming desensitized to the essence of a woman. So if you're able to do that, which is history repeating itself, and I'm going to really get into why am I saying that. Thank you, Patricia. Appreciate it. Blessing to you as well, Murdoch. The reason why this is important, because if you're able to take away the source of energy that one needs, what does that leave the person, right? So if I'm disrespecting the one I'm supposed to be honoring, what does that say about me as an individual, and what does that say about where I'm heading to the future? Because, you know, curse words are just what they are. They are cursed words. When you are speaking to someone, or even to yourself, and you are not speaking blessings, you are most likely speaking against the fruitfulness of that person's future. So if I'm telling you, F you, you ain't this, you ain't that, I'm literally hoping, and not even realizing subconsciously, I'm hoping that you fail. I'm hoping that you become destroyed. I'm hoping that you don't know who you are, or that you lose place of who you are and who you are called to be, because I'm cursing at you. Back in the day, when someone wanted to place a curse on someone, they would say, may you never move forward. May you stand still. May your family never be fruitful. Those were curse words. And, you know, they were lengthy curse words. There were phrases and spells that were casting on people. But fast forward today, we are placing curses on each other in shorter terms and phrases, right? Now, I appreciate that, Coach Carlin. Now, the reason why I'm getting to this, now, I made tons of videos about 7 types of queens, king desire. You guys have to go to my YouTube. As a matter of fact, if you guys can like, share, comment wherever you are right now, invite your friends to come along, dialogue, ask me questions if you like in the comment sections. I'm actually paying very close attention to the comments that are being said, and I will reply. Thank you, everybody who's saying something, and I appreciate you listening. So definitely like, share, subscribe. Right now. So if you're on Facebook, go to YouTube. I want everybody to go to YouTube if you can. And if you're on Instagram, no, you don't have the link. Go to my link, the bio in the link, click it, go to the very top page, very top of the page. You see the YouTube link. Even on 7 Queens, well, 7 Queens 6 another one, but KevinDorival.com. All right. Now, The reason why I'm saying this is that if you haven't seen those videos about the queens and why I wrote and how I came about writing this book, Seven Types of Queen King Desire, go to the YouTube video, or of course get the book if you haven't gotten it, or whatever. It's ebook, it's paperback, hardback, all that good stuff. Believe me, it is what people are saying it is. It is on fire, and it's more than the book. It would actually blesses you. It's actually, I read my first book and this book, and my first book, which is an inspirational autobiography, it doesn't make me smile as much. This book, I smile every page. It's actually, I'm surprised I even wrote this book. And I've been told by several people that this book should have been written by a woman, not a man, So some women feel as if I stepped on their toes by writing such a book that should have been coming from a perspective of a woman. But then when you read it, you will understand it is coming from a female's perspective and a male perspective, the feminine and masculine principle. Now, the follow-up to this book, I'm finishing up right now. It's probably going to take me, to the end of the year to actually finish it. So hopefully by January, February, it will be printed. It's not going to take me as long because now I'm coming straight from the gut with this one. I came from the heart with this book. With Seven Types of Kings, I'm coming straight from the gut. And there's no holds barred. There's that type of book that I'm going to tell women to read. I'm not going to promote it to women. I'm going to promote it to men because it's meant for men to read, to understand who they are and what they're supposed to be. So I asked the women the question, asked the queens the question, what type of queen are you? I'm going to ask the men the same thing. What type of king are you? Now, are you a warrior king? Are you a spiritual king? Are you a man of your word? I'm going to stop right there. Man of your word. I'm 38 years old right now, and I pride myself of being a man of my word, being able to do what I said I was going to do, and not only that, getting other people to stick by their words. Me being someone who's considered a realist or someone that is real, I'm going to do my best to make sure those around me actually keep their word, and also not go against what they said that they were going to do. Because a lot of times we have men that aren't really keeping their words. They're not keeping their word, cause them not even to be at home with their children that they have planted the seed in the woman, and now that even this woman abandoned to take care of their child. Now, what does that do to us as a community, the Black community? I'm sure it's the same in the white community and the Hispanic community. When a man is not there, you're leaving the home to the wolves. You're leaving your children to be attacked by the wolves, the sharks, the bears, whatever you want to call them, the hyenas. They're open targets, open prey. There's tons of movies and videos about people who've been left out there in the ocean and stranded and what happens to them. It's the same thing that's happening to our children when we are not there taking care of them, to support them and to make sure that they are good, making sure that they have the physical support, the financial support, and emotional support. A lot of the support from the females, a lot of support that women need is not necessarily financial, because a lot of women are doing great these days, actually doing outstanding, doing much better than a lot of men that I know, and it is what it is. The tides have turned. But at the same time, they still need that emotional support. Yes, you could be fine and have 1 million followers on Instagram and all kind of guys barking at you and texting you. But at the same time, you still need someone to be there to hold you, to appreciate you. Everyone needs to be appreciated, to love on you, someone that you can give love to, and so that love can be reciprocated. I understand there's a lot of men that are out there who have only one purpose in their lives, is to screw as many females as possible. I talk about that book, and I talk about this in Seven Types of Kings, Queen's Desire. There's men out there that all they want to do is, not only do they just want to introject their manlyhood inside of you, but they want to destroy you. They want to take you down as a queen. So you must be vigilant and use discernment and what type of man this is. What type of man are you dating? So I talk about that in the Seven Queens. By the way, is a interpersonal relationship self-help book. But when it comes to the men, we don't have the examples that we need to have in order to know, okay, this is what my woman needs. She needs me to not just be there to change her tires, to fix her car, to throw out the trash, work on the house, but she needs me to be there for that emotional support and that spiritual support as well, because we all need someone to pray for us and to pray with sometimes. There's nothing wrong to have somebody to pray with. That's actually, I find that very sexy to have a woman that's gonna not just pray for me, but to pray with me. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think I know I've had that once upon a time in my life, but I know that the spiritual realm and the physical realm are two different things, and everything that happens in the physical happens in the spiritual first. And so if a man he grew up, such as myself, but grew up in the home that did not have a father figure, didn't have a mentor. All he had was his mom and his siblings, if he had siblings at all, and possibly a basketball, football coach. Women raising boys. You're right about that, Coach Carlett. I'm going to get into that too. He's not gonna know. He doesn't have those examples. So a lot of us as men, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the men, not because I condone the behavior, but just to be realistic of what's going on, in our communities, in our homes. A lot of men just don't know how to be. All they know is how to, I guess, function around women, but not necessarily how to coexist, how to co-rule. They call it co-rulership. We don't know how to do that because that wasn't what we were taught. That's not what we were shown. A lot of times, the biggest support our moms had was our grandmothers, possibly the grandfathers. So guys don't know how to be a gentleman for the most part. I became a gentleman, which is funny, when I think about it. But the way I became a gentleman was because I wanted to be something different than my immediate environment. Where I'm from, most guys and teenagers, they were slinging dope. They were slinging drugs. Some of the guys as teenagers, and I've seen this myself. You know what I'm saying? As teenagers was beating up their girlfriends. Literally. They were beating up their girlfriends, whether she was pregnant or not. I remember one time when I was about the age of 7, 8 years old, I seen a woman, a nurse. I just remember her being beautiful, a beautiful black woman, possibly an afro or jerry curl. I knew she had like a set of hair. So a shapely woman. I was very young, but I could still tell beauty, from a young age. And this guy comes up in his car and just start beating her, man. He really started whooping her. You know what I'm saying? And I was shocked. Like my mom, me, my siblings who was in the car, our mouth dropped looking at this. And this literally in the city of Pompano, where I'm from, born and raised. And this is what I witnessed, South Florida. And growing up, this is going on all over the world. I just finished reading a book. I should have grabbed it from my living room. I read it last month, called Fathers Behind Bars. This young man, same exact situation, grew up in a single parent home. Actually started growing up in Detroit with his mom and dad, but his dad was an alcoholic. All he knew how to do was drink and work. That's all he did, and beat up his wife, which is his mother. His parents moved out literally in the middle of a snowstorm in Detroit. This is back in the late 60s, early 70s. He ends up growing up, had children early, and went to the Army, came back home and caught kind of charges, got on drugs and dope. And he often says that he wished that his father was there just to show him how to be a man, just to show him what it takes to actually support a family. You know what I'm saying? How to have order in the house. Because all he grew up was in disorder. So he ended up doing like 30 some years in prison, started an organization, and his testimony it was amazing because that was in the 60s. We're in 2018, and we still are the #1 growing population in prison, especially amongst our young women. Young women are the #1 growing population in prison right now. Young black women. Young black women. You know. Hey, what's up? What's up, Steph? M Kemp 954. I know you from the 954, Broward County on the rise. What's up? So these things I mean, and I titled this video "Life or Death" because it is a life or death situation. You know, people like Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, those of you who he is a bit controversial, but he talks a lot of sense now. He's a lot of research, educated. If you put beside his flaws, listen to the knowledge his brother's kicking. You know, Dr. Amos Wilson, his book "Black on Black Violence: Black Self-Annihilation in Service of White Domination," which is a very powerful book. Another book that I read and I studied every year because we host the annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. Now, I'm not just doing this video because I want to see how I look on video or on TV, but I'm making this video because we as a people, man, something needs to change. Having cute hashtag signs and nice videos and flyers and cute events in our tuxes and dresses is not going to change this. We need to get it back to the streets because a lot of our brothers out there, a lot of them thugs, all they, you know, the so-called thugs, all they need is a hug. Tupac, for example, I just did a video just yesterday about Tupac, right? About Tupac and Biggie, and you know, many of us know how, you know, these young brothers lost their lives in a very ugly, you know, fashion, very ugly fashion. How these young brothers lost their lives at the prime of their careers. You know what? Biggie, Tupac both died what, 25, 26 years old. And when I was 25, 26 years old, especially at 25 years old, I could relate. You know, I'm a victor of black on black crime. You know, someone tried to make me a victim of it. And when I was in college, and I refused to allow that situation to destroy me and my dream. See, the problem is there's a lot of brothers out on the streets who have big goals. You'd be surprised. They have big dreams, big goals. They want to do good. They want to do right. But they don't have anyone giving them that extra support. That's why we have these nonprofit organizations that give back. You know, we have Courage to Be International, a mentoring program that we started back in 2014 with the church program, and it's been going great ever since. So I thank y'all for your support. Those of you who supported our GoFundMe, some people even mail checks, you know, to the nonprofit that I started back in 2014. Actually, 2013 was official 2014. We have a nonprofit 501c3, you know, tax exempt status. You know, I'm thankful for that. You know, you guys have encouraged me, you know, to continue doing what I'm doing. And then you have nonprofits like New Game Movement, another one. You have Concerned African Women in Miami under Kiani. You know, so we need these programs because if we're gonna save our community, we can't wait for the government to do it. We can't wait for the school boards to do it or the classes to do it. We gotta invest in them. You know, I definitely recommend anybody go out there. If you see a young brother, you know, I'm not saying talk to everybody, but if God pushes it on your heart to say something encouraging, just say something encouraging to a black man when you see him. Even a sister. You know, this morning I received a message on one of my social media accounts, and I thought somebody was just playing games over the spam, and they were saying that they were homeless and XYZ. So I'm like, wow, that's unfortunate. So I asked them, so where are you living now? They're like, you know, I'm sleeping in my car. I got kicked out the house, yada yada. So I'm thinking someone just trying to get some, you know, some money out of me because I've been in a situation like that before. So this young lady actually told me I can call you now if you're free. I said, okay. I sent my number, you know. So we spoke for a little bit and we started talking, and she started, you know, crying over the phone. I'm like, are you crying? Like, I was shocked. So she was at a very emotional state. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this because I want kudos or congrats or none of that, but this is the thing that we're supposed to do. That's another thing that we have a problem with. I have a problem with. You know, we're expecting thank yous and this and that from things we're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're supposed to encourage and support one another. And so she told me the situation. She said she hasn't eaten since yesterday. By this time, like 11:30. And I told her, you know, I'm at work right now, but give me a minute. Do you have like a, you know, PayPal or Cash App? And she told me, okay. So I sent her some money, you get something to eat, put some gas in the car. And I told her, look, I'm gonna be a little busy today, but if you need anything, any words of encouragement, call me. But know this, that you are a queen, and that no matter how much money you got, whether it's $1 or $100 million in the bank account, you know what I'm saying, you walk with dignity. Just know who you are, and things will get better. But do not lose your dignity. That's why, you know, that's why I told her that, and I can sense that, you know, she felt encouraged. She was so thankful. Now, I was able to do that. Now, imagine if each and every one of us, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I probably really only know 2,000 of them personally or throughout the years, and about 3,000 on Instagram, another 3,000 on Twitter. Imagine if all these friends and followers were to go out one day out of a week, and pick somebody to say something encouraging to them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us give up on our dreams and goals because we just don't see a way. But I always practice one thing called SBE. Speak it, believe it, execute the plan. And that's what I want all of y'all to do. Say it. Speak it, believe it, execute the plan. And that's going to inspire you to want to move forward, to want to get better. And that's what we need our young men, specifically our young men. Because the reason why I'm targeting the young men is because they're the first line of defense. We are the first line of defense. So if you have no first line of defense, guess what's going to happen? You're open for attack any kind of way, any kind of direction. That's why it's vitally important that our men understand their importance and understand their value and understands and overstands the importance of protecting our Black women. Black women, unfortunately, this has been posted many times in articles, in social media, do not feel safe. They do not, and many of our queens don't even feel safe around other Black men. You know, and to me, I'm like, you know, wow, you know, as a Black man, what do I say? You know, only thing I can do is be a better man, to be honest with you, because if our queens don't feel safe, or even it could be a white woman, it could be Hispanic women, if women, period. Just put color to the side for a second. Just for a second. I know I got the African, you know what I'm saying? The continent, my ancestors on my shoulders. Let's put color to the side for a second. The fact that women do not feel safe around men, I find that very troubling, because we are supposed to be the defenders, the protectors, the balancers of the home. Because right now, our homes and communities have an imbalance of the masculine and feminine principle. Our ancestors were able to balance that. That's why they was able to create and build wonderful edifices, temples and columns and pyramids and the Sphinx and irrigation systems, societies, the first universities, everything you call it, you name it. They was able to balance it out, because once you're able to balance out things, you're able to see the strengths, you're able to see the weaknesses. And so where you're weak at, your companion comes in and make you stronger. Now, for a woman not to feel safe around a man, or around black women not feeling safe around Black men, it's like that's to set off the alarms. Like, what's going on? How can we see what's happening, right? What can we do to make it better? What can we do to change the current situation? That's what we got to ask ourselves. What can we actually physically do in our homes, in our communities, to change the narrative of what's happening, the epidemics that's happening in our face right now, right here, right now? whether you're in Florida, whether you're in California, Texas, New York, London, Haiti, Jamaica, Bahamas. What can we do right now? What can we do around the world right now to change the mindsets of our young men? Because Frederick Douglass, which I'm glad I just said that, because I'm thinking about his quote. He says, easier to raise young men than to fix a broken man, right? A lot of our men are just broken. They have condoned, they have been interjected with so much negativity about their own self-worth, about their own image, about their own power, to really accept a false fact that we are permanent underclass. That's a false fact. We are of a great people and of a great heritage, and it is vitally important that we reach back to the youth and the grown men who I would say are broken men, because I was once broken, to be honest with you. And if it wasn't for the grace of God, if it wasn't, it was actually a miracle that I was able to find myself in the midst of the hurricane, in the midst of the storms. I was able to find peace and be like, you know what? I got this. I can do this. I can achieve this. I can graduate college. I can start these businesses. I can write these books. You know, I'm going to have my own place. I'm going to have my own car. I'm going to buy a house. You know, so a lot of these things, I was able to accomplish them only because I refused to believe that I was less than nothing. And Frederick Douglass' book, and I remember this vaguely because I read it a few times. I was reading it over the weekend, actually Friday night. He said in chapter 2 how his slave master's greatest fear was for him to learn how to read, for Black folks to learn how to read, for a Black person to know how to read is actually a nightmare for the white slave masters, for them to learn how to read, so, because they knew that if people like Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington's and Harriet Tubman's of the world, Phyllis Wheatley's of the world, Toussaint Louverture of the world, Jean-Jacques Dessalines of the world, Queen Nzinga's of the world, you know what I'm saying? You know, the list goes on and on and on. If they knew Nat Turner's of the world, I gotta say Nat Turner, rest in peace, his ancestors. If they knew how to read, how they would be able to not only change the narrative, but write their own stories and also understand who they were so they know where they're going. Malcolm X once said, if you don't know who you are whatever everybody else says you are. And so our men are soldiers, they're troops. You see how strong we are, you know? You see these muscles here? We know we're strong. We know we can fight. We've been fighting. But the problem is our young Black men don't know why or who they should be fighting and not be fighting each other, because if they don't know this, well, that's what we fight each other. We're fighting and killing each other at alarming rates. There are people who are saying there's no such thing as Black on Black crime. Really? There's no such thing as Black on Black crime, right? Since 1960s to 2013, there's been nearly 700,000 Black deaths at the hands of other Black people. And it's probably only less than a quarter of that due to police brutality. Not saying police brutality isn't, you know, scary or isn't important. Oh, yes, it is. But that's a whole nother battle we're going to have to face. But before we can actually defeat white on Black crime, police brutality, racism, we have to defeat the demons and the enemy within our own homes first. That's just the reality of it. And once that happens, then we can go ahead and attack and defeat white racism. And, you know, racism isn't, you know, a lot of people get it confused or misconstrued that racism, the problem with slavery and racism is that racism and slavery was the enslavement of our people, which is, of course, that was ugly. It was immoral, you know, of the devil and all of that, right? But the true problem with slavery was not a moral issue, because it was a moral issue. It was a financial issue. And so as long as we allow the system to continue making us believe that slavery was just something that was bad, it shouldn't have happened, and all we think about is the torture. And mind you, down there 600 million Africans died in the coast of Africa, the villages, you know, trying to, you know, slave our people who jump overboard. In Black Panther, the guy talked about it, Killmonger spoke about that. He'd rather throw me in the ocean, bury me in the sea so I could die with our ancestors who chose to jump overboard rather than to be enslaved, right? And then the Africans who died on the plantations, you talking about over 600 million. They don't even have an exact number, right? But it's the financial issue, the constant reminders, and we can look out our windows. Many of us, I mean, my window, outside my window, I live in the suburbs, so it looks kind of nice. But a lot of the ghettos, and the ghetto that I grew up in, you look out your window, you see the trouble. You see enslavement right there. People thinking that they're not worth more than minimum wage or welfare. You know, our children. I ain't nothing but ghetto babies. Those thoughts. Why should I trust you? Those thoughts and ideas, and somebody put house niggas. That's funny. But those kind of ideas, right? Those kind of ideas and looking at each other in that type of way, respecting that lack of respect, that's enslavement. That's history repeating itself because all that was set up on the plantations, and we're still doing it today. Now, instead of being a slave master or overseer killing us, now you got black men, you got white men with black faces, right? You know, that's what Dr. Amos Woodson said in his book, Black on Black Crime, doing the crime themselves. Without we're killing each other. They don't got to do it. We doing it. So until we're able to change the narrative and show love to our brothers and sisters, show love to ourselves, then we'll be able to support one another. Then we'll be able, instead of having that crab in the box mentality, we'll be able to lift one another out the box. Because once one of us makes it, especially if you know it's a real one, such as myself, but once one of us makes it to a particular financial realm, we're able to come back and pull out the others. So I definitely want us to be more encouraging, more supportive of our brothers and sisters. One of my books, 7 Types of Queens, I keep saying that, 7 Types of Kings, that Queen's Desire comes out, I'm going to be a lot more harsh in words, but I'm going to be showing love as well, because I really want my brothers and sisters to understand that we must love one another. Because if we allow that hatred to continue, then we're gonna continue that same pattern. Then our children are gonna continue that same pattern, and their children are gonna continue that same pattern. Some people say it's not gonna be a black community by the year 2030, 2040. We'll be annihilated. You know, we'll be completely mixed. Not that I'm against mixed relationships. I'm not at all. I'm all about love. If me as a black man and if a Hispanic woman, a white woman love me and showing me more love than my own sisters, am I to deny that love? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to keep it black. Think about it. Because I'm not about the foolishness of racism and things. I have no time for that. I love my black queens. Matter of fact, I prefer black queens. However, I'm open to love and love itself, because no matter what you believe in, what you've been taught, if whatever you've been taught isn't about loving one another, then what you're being taught is evil. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't about love and giving back, having that kind of love being reciprocated amongst just people, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to just being just people, man? Loving life, giving life, showing love, supporting, go out on your way to support somebody that you know they're trying their best. That's what this is about, and that's what we're missing. You know, I'm gonna continue preaching, Jackson. I appreciate it. Hey, I hear you. So that's what I want to say in this video, and I hope you all enjoying yourselves again. If you're on my Instagram, go to these people, Women Doing It Big, and follow them on Instagram. Go to my Courage to Believe Instagram. You'll definitely see it. This is the magazine. Of course, this is my second book. I should have had my first book up here, Courage to Believe, but This is my, I guess, pride and joy. I have a paperback, hardback, and ebook. So you can't download it. iTunes, Amazon, or get it from my website to get an autograph. And you know, if anybody have any comments, anything, you know, please contact me. This is King Kevin in the building. And love y'all, bless y'all. I gotta go work out and do my thing. And to the next time, subscribe, like, share, comment, please. All right, bless. Man, hey, I just finished the video on Facebook. Well, I guess I'm live, so a few people still joining in. I'm ending this right now, but I'm continue making more and more videos. Definitely check me out on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. I'm in the building, baby, and you can always go back and follow me, and I follow you back. It is what it is. Be love, give love. Life is love. Let's see.